Hello everybody and welcome to episode 2 of Unmapped Vacations YouTube channel.
Yes, so welcome guys. And our last conversation, it got me thinking, Samya, ki we've been friends for so many years. And this is the first time we are having this conversation. I have never had this conversation with you as a friend that what it means to be a travel agent.
Right.
How do you do it? Because as a layman, and now it is established that I am that traveler who doesn't take help. What do you guys exactly do after we approach you? Or even before a customer approaches you, what is your day-to-day?
That's a good question actually. I'll answer the first one, which is what we do. So what we do is basically what we don't want you to do. Which is
Good
a
one.
lot of research, keep looking for new places, keep reading about the places, go through books, speak to our peers, speak to our counterparts, get new ideas from them, see what kind of destinations people are favoring, where they would want to travel, what is something unique in them, keep talking to hotels, keep talking to airlines so that we can get the best deals for people who are wanting to book through us.
Yeah.
So all this keeps happening.
Yeah.
A lot of research basically keeps happening and a lot of reading has to happen because things are changing quite fast nowadays. Every day you find something new or every day something else has changed.
Or
What
goes
was,
viral.
Yeah, what was previously valid may not be true now.
Yeah.
So you need to keep reading, you need to stay updated. So that is what basically happens when we have our free time. And then once somebody comes to us, then it's pretty much, connecting with the right people and getting the best deals worked out so that people who come book through us have the best possible experience that they can. So it's pretty simple that way. But yes, it does. Like I said, it's what we don't want you to do is what we exactly do, because that is where the crux lies.
But how much do you rely on social media? Because these days we all have the access. No, really, because we all see these vlogs, travel vlogs. For me personally, they are not relatable because a lot of the times they look expensive. They might not be expensive, but
The way they're projected.
the way they're projected and the focus is on showing the grand parts of the touristy place.
Correct.
Do you guys also rely on social media or?
Yes and no. Yes, because at times social media also gives us good insights into destinations or maybe at times even hotels. So a lot of the hotels which have newly come up or are giving out some promotional offers, those are the ones which at times we do get to know from social media. Also, we get to know about certain destinations which have certain changes being made through social media. And when I say social media, it also comes a lot through informative posts, which you get from different channels that we have by following those respective tourism departments. So it's not like we get information or we look out for reels, but instead we look out for these tourism departments who keep sharing these informations. So that is something that we keep reading and that is where we try and stay updated from, because that also becomes your most authentic source, where it is coming straight from the horse's mouth, where the tourism department itself of that particular place is sharing some information. You can definitely trust it blindfoldedly.
Nice, because what usually happens is that when friends, all of us, are hanging out and you are usually traveling, so all we know is that, okay, Samya az ikde. So like, other than that, we've never sat down and had a conversation about what is it exactly. I mean, of course, on a bigger picture level, we all know what you do, but it is never shared, the details, the hassles, like you mentioned in the previous episode.
Correct.
That the backend needs to be so strong that we can travel hassle-free.
Correct.
So that we never get to. We never.
So it's basically a lot of emails, email exchange, and phone calls that keep going through. So we have a lot of DMCs, which is Destination Management Company, who we have tied up with. So then it's basically exchanging emails with them, making sure that we get all the confirmation vouchers well in advance. go through all those vouchers, make sure the dates are correct, the names are correct, the destination is right. Because at times what happens is a particular hotel may have two names, but the address is the same,
Yes.
or may have one name, but the addresses are different.
Yes.
And in that scenario, what happens is at times you book a hotel because it's cheaper, but then when you go there, you realize it's way far away from what you actually wanted to go and see, and which is why you are booking that hotel.
This happened with me less than a month ago. I'm not even kidding. Luckily, we were near Pune. So we put the location's name on Google Maps.
Correct.
And we just followed it. And after reaching there, it was all sunsan. There was nobody, and we had gone there to attend a program.
Okay.
ये क्या हो रहा है? इतना शांति क्यों है?
Correct.
And then we called one of our friends and they're like, yeah, we are all here. And then my friend was like, did you go to the other location? And we're like,
correct.
oh. So then we had to take another route, travel almost 2 hours.
Correct.
And then get there.
I think this happens a lot. This is exactly what we tend to do, make sure that the entire booking details that have been shared and that have been done are made correctly. So that is something that goes at the back end, checking the flights that have been booked, whether the dates are correct. Most of the times with respect to flights, if you don't follow a 24-hour clock, you end up in a soup.
Oh my God.
Because your flight is for 6:30 in the evening, which ideally should be noted as 18:30 hours. But if it by mistake comes down as 6:30 and you miss reading the PM, and you'll end up at the airport at 4 in the morning for your 6:30 in the evening flight.
Or you can miss your flight as well.
Or vice versa.
That is a big worry or like a stressful thing even for me. I'm like, I keep checking whether it is in the morning or it's in the night.
Yeah.
So it's a big, oh my God.
So these things need to be looked into. This is what our work basically revolves around. And also phone calls. One day prior, we call up all the hotels just to ensure that everything is in place. Speaking to the driver who's going to be reaching the airport, making sure that is in place. Every day when the client is on tour, we make sure we try and call up the driver who's going to take them, or just maybe have a word. Nowadays it's become easy because you have WhatsApp groups that we create.
True.
So information gets shared very quickly.
Yeah.
So all of this keeps happening at the back end, which is well supported by our team.
Nice.
And they play a big role in that case. Although we may be the face, but without them, this face has no meaning.
No, and only we get to see the posts, we get to hear that, oh, you're in this country, you're in that country. But the effort that is put behind all that is what actually makes your trip easier.
Absolutely.
I will get in touch with you before any trip, way before any trip.
In fact, since we are talking on this, what I would like to know is what is your biggest fear when you're on a trip? And what would you do if you're in a fix?
Starts from whether the flight is in the morning or night. So my anxiety starts at the beginning of the trip, is whether I'm reaching the airport at the correct time or not. Second is if there are connecting flights, I would love to catch the next flight and get to my trip on time. But more than that, actually reaching the location is where I need to be prepared.
Right.
And which, if I don't have an agent with me, that is another fear that I have mentioned, that I don't know which bus to take.
Correct.
Where is that? Because if you're going to a new region, you have no idea how far your hotel or your Airbnb is from the airport or the bus if you're traveling, or train station, wherever, if you're traveling domestic. And also, one really interesting thing that I have noticed internationally is that trains are very accessible, especially in European countries. But because of the language barriers and because everyone is always moving so fast, you might not get somebody to stop and ask them questions about these things.
Yeah.
So that gets bit stressful.
Correct.
Whether I'm booking the right ticket, whether it is going to take me to the destination or not. And once you get there, like I talked about the Germany experience, we got there and we reached the place And I called up the Airbnb owner and he's like, yeah, you'll find the key in the lock.
Correct.
जो आजकल होते हैं, you have to the pin वाले.
Yeah.
And there was no key. And I was like, dude, it's 12 in the night. Like, I need to go sleep. I have meetings the next day. And then that guy had given us the wrong location of his another Airbnb.
Ouch.
So then from there, with all the luggage we traveled, we walked to the other, our actual Airbnb. And then, we ended up getting to our Airbnb 2 hours late. But these are the few
correct. This can happen.
Scary things.
This can happen. So that is why it is important to cross-check. Whenever you get your information, it's always better to have a quick call before you leave and ensure that, okay, this is where you have to be. That is something that probably a travel agent will do for you.
Exactly.
Just cross-check quickly, do the necessary double checks that are needed, and let you know that where you're going is where you have to be.
Do you guys also book Airbnbs, or is it usually
Airbnbs unfortunately have to be booked by the individual itself. So what we suggest is we ask people to go through the places which they have liked. They can share that, and then we can let them know which one is the ideal one that they can book. So that can be done, and that is doable. That's not an issue at all.
Because the thing is, unless and until you book that Airbnb, you don't get the exact location.
Correct.
And if you have like a tight work schedule, you need to be as closer to your work as possible. And one of our Airbnbs was showing we were 10 minutes away from our workplace. But when we got there, it was actually almost an hour and a half away from our actual workplace.
Wow. Something similar happened to me when I was traveling to Switzerland on a personal trip. So we had booked an Airbnb in Interlaken, and silly error. We put it on the map and it said 5 minutes. We're like, great, we'll walk it from the station. Later, after 12 minutes of walking, I realized I had not switched from travel time for a car to travel time for a walk.
No.
And then we ended up walking for 25 minutes from the train station, where I was dragging 2 bags. My little kid was wailing around.
But at least you were not sweating.
At least I was not sweating.
Nice.
But so it can happen. I mean, you have to be more careful with such things, especially when you are traveling abroad, because the maps are great. But then if you forget shifting from walk to car or car to train, you can land up in trouble at times.
Related to this international travel, I like going back to your question, what makes me nervous?
Right.
So there's another thing that I just thought of is international travel, security and immigration. Because
but why should that be scaring for you?
It is, of course. I mean, what if I don't have the correct documents? What if you don't want to know what all questions go through my head? Would they be checking my check-in? Random things go through my mind.
Actually, security and immigration probably should be the last thing on your mind that should scare you, because it's pretty straightforward. For security, if you're talking, they have made it very clear. And I think even if you travel domestically, they're pretty much the same things that you cannot carry in your cabin baggage or in your check-in baggage, or what you can carry in your check-in and what you can carry in your cabin. With respect to immigration also, you really need not be worried about, because you all have your documents. In the first place, you've already got your visa. So immigration shouldn't really scare you much, because if at all the immigration officer does have to ask you, he's going to ask you for the same documents that you provided for your visa, which is where are you staying, how long are you staying, or how are you going to meet your ends with respect to the expenses part
and
of
also your purpose of
the
visa. But that's one thing that I would like to ask you is that usually nowadays we do everything paperless, right? I mean, would you recommend people carrying hard copies, or would it be okay with just your phones? How?
In fact, that should be your fear. That if I don't have hard copies, and what if my phone stops working? Or what if my phone gets stolen? Then you are in a fix, and that should be a worrying factor for you. So it may sound old school, but we always insist that people should have hard copies with them, and not just one copy, but 2 copies. Because at times what can happen is if you have a hard copy with you and say you forget your bag somewhere in a hurry, or your bag itself gets siphoned off, then the other copy which is there in your check-in baggage, then that is going to come in handy. And what we also suggest people is they can upload all their documents on the drive, because nowadays you can make those documents available offline as well. And also you have easy access to them by entering any cafe. I have learned this the hard way, where I was leading a trip to Andamans and I lost my phone. पण ते लहानपणी आई बाबा म्हणायचे बदाम खा बुद्धी तल्लक राहते, त्याच्यामुळे थोडे नंबर्स आय कुड रिकलेक्ट and get things sorted out. But from then on, I said nothing doing. I have to have a hard copy with me. So hard copies is a must. I mean, yes, we do say save paper, why cut trees? But then a simple thing like using a rough paper is something that you can do. So if you have any papers which are used on one side and you're not going to use them anymore, you can just use the other side to print out.
It's okay if we do
yes,
that. Because
especially with respect to your hotel bookings. You can just cut out the used part and use the other side, because all you want to do is just show them that this is what I have.
Right.
So it
but
doesn't
for
really
immigration,
matter.
it's better if you have it on a
Yeah, of course. For immigration, it's better
Yeah.
if you have it on a clean slate of
Yeah.
paper. But even if you have it on a rough paper, it should suffice.
Good to know. This will calm my nerves a little bit. The
Hard
next time
copies
I
is
travel.
a big must, and it should be of everything. It should be of your air ticket, of any tours that you have booked, because they also require a confirmation voucher. The important numbers that will be there. For example, the driver who will be coming to pick you up, the hotels where you're staying. If you have planned your trip on your own, then it's also good to know numbers of the nearby medical help that you can get, or a nearby medical store that will be easily accessible to you. So note down the address of that, note down the number of that. So in case you need something quickly, then you know where to find it. So all these things, note them down in your diary, or just carry a rough paper, write them down and keep 2 copies, one with you and one in your bag.
Nice. Wow. But it is work.
Absolutely.
Trips are also work in a way,
Absolutely.
where you need to be prepared and
Yes.
Nice. So I want to ask you, because you've traveled so much and you keep traveling all the time, what are some of these not so famous destinations that are just too good to be true, and what are your favorite?
Actually, there are quite a few, to be very honest, because there's so much to explore.
Of course.
But quickly, if I have to take 2 names, then within India itself, I mean, I keep saying this, whenever you say travel, you always start thinking about where you can go internationally. But within India itself, there are so many places which are still unexplored. And one of the place that comes to my mind is Odisha. It is really amazing. Fantastic place where people should go. Great culture, good cuisine, good places to see, some amazing temples that you can go and see. So Odisha is a definitely must visit place. And also Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh, generally people tend to associate it quickly with the national parks.
Yeah.
But you have some fabulous places in Madhya Pradesh as well, which you should go to. I mean, generally popular ones are Khajuraho, Bhopal, Indore.
Right.
But apart from that, there are so many other places in Madhya Pradesh which one must go and see. It's a fantastic place to go.
Nice.
Internationally, there can be many, and we'll keep getting many reels also based on that. Oh, this place you should go, that place you should go. So there are quite a few, but again, internationally, if you ask me one place which I feel maybe not underrated, but slightly unpopular or not as popular is Morocco.
Oh my God.
Again, a fantastic place. Brilliant place. Slightly offbeat or rather offbeat, but slightly can get a little expensive because of the travels that you have to do within Morocco itself.
Okay.
But it's a
Really?
country one has to see.
But what makes these places really like?
So there are so many things.
Like, why haven't they picked up the usual to go places? Like, there must be something that is unique that keeps them hidden, or like.
It's very difficult to say what is that exact thing that's probably kept them from not being explored,
Yeah.
One quick thing that you could maybe say is the accessibility. But nowadays, with air travel picking up, these places are getting a lot more accessible, plus purchasing power. These places, because they're a little offbeat, little further away, tend to be on the higher side. So the economics may not have worked earlier, but now with the purchasing power increasing, people able to travel a lot more easily with more flights coming in. These places are coming up. So in fact, even Iceland once upon a time was a place which was considered to be, in those luxurious category or very expensive kind. But you see a lot of people traveling to Iceland now. It's a great place for photography. It's also coming up as a place to see the Northern Lights.
Of course.
So these places, say Iceland, Morocco, or which other place I can quickly think of is Jordan is again a place which is now picking up amongst travelers. Zimbabwe is a place which is unknown but has some fabulous places. Victoria Falls is the only place which is popularly known, but that is also a great destination apart from Victoria Falls which you can go and see. So a lot of places, a lot of exploration to be done. But if you ask me, I would still say think about Odisha, MP, exploring them first. Northeast, so much of Northeast is unexplored. So yeah. There are lots
Let's
of.
go then.
Yeah, let's really
because
go.
I've not been to either of the places. So let's go. We have been talking about these offbeat, rare places, unexplored places. Why do you think they are like that, and isn't it a good thing that they are in a way unexplored?
Yeah, actually, yes, it's a good thing that they are unexplored. But then at the same time, if you look at the bigger picture, then if these places do get popular, like some have over the period of time, a very simple example I can give you is within Maharashtra itself, the Devkund waterfall.
Yes.
Now that waterfall was under the unexplored or offbeat place, and then thanks to social media, it became so popular that now you see more people than the waterfall.
Oh my God.
Is it a good thing? There is a slight no to it from my side personally, especially because then I feel that these things, once they start getting popular, they start getting overcrowded as well.
Yeah.
And I always feel that every place, every destination that you go to always has its own strengths, its own carrying capacity. And by carrying capacity, I mean the number of people it can look after well. With them having a good time, rather than they coming back and saying, "Arey, it was too crowded, it was too dirty, it was not a good experience to go," which we do see now happening at the places which are really popular. Say like Switzerland. If you go to Mount Titlis, or if you go to Jungfrau, you'll see a lot of crowd, a lot of people. So you have to wait in line. You have to wait till you get your chance to, even board the train. It gets that crowded during peak season time. So, or for that matter, for treks, which is one of my biggest concerns. Because what happens at treks is a particular place, if it's able to cater to say only 50, 60, 100 people, and you have 500, 600 people going there, then it's a big problem.
In a season, you're saying?
In a season, not even in a season, on a particular period. So, for example, let's take the long weekend period during August. And we have this one very popular trek. And I have seen I've personally experienced where on those particular days, we have had around close to 500 people on that trek route.
And the limit is of?
Limit is probably 100 to 120. So
Kahi.
3-4 times the number.
my God.
And what happens because of that is, like I said, each place has a carrying capacity.
Yeah.
And everything around it also has that carrying capacity. So the challenges that we faced because of the overcrowding is you couldn't have campsites set up in a way where you are not getting obstructed by the other tent.
Yeah.
Or you're not getting obstructed by the horses that have accompanied by you. So place where you can have only 10 tents or 15 tents, which is on an average say 30 people, 20 to 30 people, was suddenly seeing about 100 people. So those many horses, those many backup team members, those many backup utensils, tents, and the
And
garbage to follow.
I have two questions for you. One is, do you guys then as agents and different companies communicate with each other that maybe some other agent is taking that trek or, taking people there? And two, yes, we have you guys to guide us and make things easier for us.
Right.
But some responsibilities lies with us as well as tourists.
Yeah, they do. They lie with everybody, in fact.
Of course, but
as tourists or as travel agents or even as people who are there, the way they welcome people or the way they treat them. So it's it's one, they're all linked to each other. But more so for us tourists, what I personally feel is a more bigger job for us is because when we go there, it is our job to make sure we keep it the way it is, rather than going and adding something from our side. And classically, at most of the times it is waste
Plastic
that gets added to it. So the best way to do that, what we normally say is whatever you have taken from here, you bring it back. So even unfortunately, although we say plastic should be avoided, but in certain cases it's unavoidable.
Of course.
There are certain things for which you have to have plastic. So then what can you do? So then rather than leaving it there, you bring it back with you and then dispose it off in your own country rather than adding to the woes that are already there in the other country.
The biggest plastic contributor as a traveler is water bottles. And you cannot bring all the water bottles you've consumed from there to your hotel room or wherever.
Correct.
So the easiest way could be
is carry your own
this
bottle.
is one thing that I have changed in my daily life also, but especially when I travel, is I take like a metal water bottle with me. And only relying on plastic water bottles is something we all can avoid.
Absolutely. In fact, when you're traveling outside of India, most countries you'll also see water filling stations. So you don't even need to buy a plastic bottle. You can just go refill the bottle that you have carried from back home. Just go refill it from those water filling stations. In fact, in most European countries, you can even just fill it up from the tap. So these are small things.
You can drink that tap water.
Exactly.
Here, there is this, not just in in different countries, there is this NGO that has started water ATMs in Ladakh, where you can replace your plastic bottle or refill your plastic bottle and not throw it in the gorgeous Ladakh that we are blessed with.
Yes.
So these are small things. And also along with these things, like personally, I've had really amazing interactions with locals and how they have made it easier for a person who doesn't have somebody with them to, go see. Or even like I was traveling to Ladakh and we didn't have a hotel available because we were traveling during tourist season. So there were
and
locals.
Without a travel agent.
True. You caught me there. But what had happened was locals were so generous and loving that they gave us one of their rooms to crash in for a couple of nights, and then we pushed from there. But that way we have created really beautiful friendships throughout the years. I bet you've had probably...
Definitely. And in fact, these are the small instances, which is why somebody has said that travel is the only thing that makes you richer.
Of course.
So there are so many ways in which it can change you as a person. It can change your perspectives. It can change the way you look at things. Because when you're traveling, there is inherent uncertainty.
Correct.
And you have to deal with it at that point.
Yeah.
But if you're back home, you at times will be like, "Jao de na, we'll see it later. I can take care of it later."
Yeah.
But you can't do that when you're traveling. If there is some uncertainty, there is something that has to be done, it has to be done. You can't say, "I'll do it 2 days later."
Of course not.
Because it's not going to get solved. So, travel does make you change completely. It teaches you a lot of patience.
100%.
It teaches you to stay humble, because at times you come and meet people where you realize that they are happy with the smallest of things that we have or they have, and we are still fighting and struggling to get more even when we already have a lot more.
Yes.
So travel definitely is something which changes your way of thinking, at least has changed my way of thinking. In fact,
Same.
I to always say that everybody should do one trek at least once every year, because it puts you in place. It absolutely puts you in place, because when you're on a trek, one, you're staying in a tent, you have to stay in a tent. You can't carry your own wooden hotel room with you. Or you can't say, garam pani nahi aa raha bhaiya, pani hi nahi hota hai, garam pani to dur ki baat hai.
Oh God.
Or if it's raining, it's raining.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. You just have to be patient, wait for the rain to subside, then enjoy the scenery around it, or deal with the rain, go to sleep, and next day hope that the weather is fine, and you continue. So, that's why I say everybody should do one trek at least once in a year, because it just really puts you back in your place. So yeah, travel is something which definitely makes you richer, wiser.
No, and you get to also know things about yourself that you didn't know about yourself.
Absolutely.
Because, like you said, if there was some emergency, you will show your truest face.
Correct.
And that could be a surprise for yourself.
Absolutely.
Because I got stuck one day somewhere and I thought I would be able to, come out of it flawlessly. I didn't. I had a nervous breakdown. I was like, what the hell? I know everything. I have access to internet. And I still couldn't bring myself to, calm myself down and take myself to that destination. But that's when the locals helped me. So recently what had happened, we had gone to Hampi.
Mm-hmm.
And I had gone to Hampi before. But this time we ended up at a place which was a little behind the famous Vitthal temple. And we were sitting and we were chilling, and one of the locals he crossed us and he was still walking. I was like, hey, iske aage bhi hai ruins. So then I stopped that uncle and I was like, kahan ja rahe ho aap? I mean, kuch hai kya dekhne ke liye? He's like, haan, ye riverside road hai. Like, there's a riverside road. You can be like, yeah, come.
Wow.
And it was me and 2 other friends of mine, and first you're hesitant, right? Like, kaise trust kare nahi? And of course from our side only, because city people have trust issues, and that uncle didn't have any trust issues. And he's like, हाँ, आप लोग मेरे साथ आ सकते हो. So he took us to this, it's such a gorgeous trail right by Tungabhadra. And it was just serene and nobody was there. Only locals travel from that trail. And it was now henceforth we tell everyone that ye karo pehle, fir jaake baki ka Hampi dekho. So that way locals also teach you.
No, locals definitely. In fact, for a travel agent, locals are like lifelines.
Yeah.
Because the way they know the area, the way they have their connects well in place is it's amazing. I mean, for us, they literally are like lifesavers at times. In fact, I remember on one of our trips to Ladakh, we were staying in this village called as Yurutse, and it only has one house in it.
Oh my
and it's
God.
still a village,
Really?
which is run by a son and a mother.
Oh
Now
my
recently
God.
I got to know from a friend of mine that they have another house and this is at 14,500 feet. And even at that height, they were kind enough to let us stay one night, and they cooked amazing food for us. And even I was not aware that we are going to be served chicken at that height
Yeah.
in those temperatures. So yeah, I mean, so basically, when you look at travel and when you say you want to travel responsibly, I think apart from the waste and garbage that we talked about, I think respecting the locals, respecting the community, the
Yeah.
people is also something which we should take a note of.
Yeah. And if you do find a connection with a local person and you befriend that person,
Yeah, yeah.
I think even before this thought comes in your head is कि अरे नहीं garbage नहीं, like I want to avoid throwing garbage or anything, you would think for your friend.
Correct.
And avoid doing a lot of these.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, in Bali, I have a friend, so a supplier who is now a friend, who I can call and tell, you know what, these guys are coming, just look after them.
Yeah.
And he'll be there. So I don't even have to call him or nothing. He'll be looking after them like they are his guests.
Yeah.
And they have, and he's the sole responsible person for them.
Yeah.
Because he knows that I have sent them, so it's like his, what do you say?
Family.
Yeah. So building relations is also something that, you know, travel helps you build.
100%.
And suddenly you realize that you don't have friends only in India, but you have them in Switzerland, you have them in Italy, you have them in Spain, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I have friends all over.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. So I think that we should now get into the quiz part.
Oh, yes.
because these are also topics that we can go on and on
Absolutely,
about.
yeah.
Because as you travel more, you create
Correct.
more relationships and more family.
So, yeah. So let's get to the quiz part.
Let me see. What is the only airport in the world located in 2 countries?
I think this has to be Europort. But I'm not sure about which 2 countries, but I think it is Europort.
It is. But it is actually 3 countries.
Germany, France, is France one of them?
Yes.
France, Germany?
Yes.
I don't know the third.
Switzerland.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah, makes sense.
Good, but
Makes sense, yeah.
I did not even know the question, but get the answer.
So, since you have been asking me so many questions and testing my knowledge, I have one question for you.
Okay.
What is the most desi thing you have done whenever you have traveled abroad?
The first thing comes to my mind is wanting to eat something Indian.
Ah,
And
Varan Bhat.
or vada pav or pav bhaji. If I can get it anywhere, even if I go to Antarctica and if somebody says ki pav bhaji मिळणार आहे तुला इथे येऊन पण, I will go have that instead of the. I mean, I will try the local cuisine as well, but I'll have pav bhaji first.
That's the most desi thing that you have done or you would like to do.
I've done.
You have done. Aika.
I keep doing it everywhere I go. 2-3 days into the travel, at least one meal.
So if tomorrow if you have to pick one place to stay
Forever.
Probably, yeah, for the rest of your life. So which would that be? So say one in India if you have to choose, and then one internationally.
India, it would be Ladakh.
Okay.
Anywhere in Ladakh. And internationally, it would be. I want to say New York, but I've
Okay.
already lived there.
Oh, okay.
But if given a chance, I would still like to go live in New York again. Because it's like a melting pot of the world. So you get, the whole world is there.
Nice.
Those 2 places. Pune also, guys. I love living in Pune also. But
No, Pune is
given a
obvious.
choice.
I mean, if given a choice, if you had to,
I
then
would pick Ladakh or Pune or Mumbai. Where would you like to
where would I like to? Internationally, if you ask me, then London is a place which has always attracted
I've never been to London.
You should.
I know. I
You
want
should.
to go.
You should. And if it's in India, then it's going to be a tough choice between either the mountains or one of the forests.
I think
So
you'll
it's
go
going to
for
be
a
tough.
forest.
So maybe 6 months I'll stay in one of the mountains and then 6 months I'll stay somewhere in the forest.
That's also a smart way of looking at it. But would you prefer mountains or ocean? Because that's like the most common
Oh no, mountains.
question.
Mountains
Yeah.
are in the forest because I can't swim, so no ocean.
You can't swim?
I can't swim.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no. So
I
then
had a medical issue, so because of that I wasn't allowed to swim. So
But you know how to swim.
not really. I'll need a float.
Really?
One blue, one orange, maybe.
Oh no, we need to go and make you swim somewhere so that we have that footage as well. So then, what if I am stuck somewhere on an island or in a boat or
Ah.
what would you do then?
That's okay. I know enough people who know how to swim. One of them will come and save you. It doesn't have to be me all the time.
But what if we are traveling together?
I make sure that my backups are in place. So there'll be a
Okay.
life jacket, there'll be
Okay.
a person who knows how to swim. So don't worry.
I can swim.
No, but
So
in
then I
case
can.
there is a situation where you are not able to swim.
Yeah. What if a
But-
shark is?
Yeah, no, we are very meticulous in our planning.
Okay. Good.
We have all safety measures looked after and taken care of for all our participants,
Including you.
including myself.
Cool. So I think on that note,
Yeah,
we should continue this conversation in the next episode.
correct. Till then, like, subscribe, share, and comment on how you liked it.
We'll see you in the next episode.
See you.
Bye.